So this is a question of an for the index number. So let's see what is the question required you to do. So this says this thing, it says that QLS company produced 3 types of treadmills for their customer. The number of treadmills sold and the price of treadmills for the last 2 years were as follow. So you have 2017 and 2018. You have the quantity and you have the price. Okay, so make sure that you read the given information carefully. Sometimes we are unaware of the information and we mix the price and the quantity, right? So the first question asks you to find the simple aggregate price index. So in this case, tindakan aggregate. Okay, so and then this is simple. So when we talk about simple aggregate, meaning to say that we are dealing with the unweighted index. Okay, so in this case, they want you to find the simple aggregate price index. So you are looking for simple aggregate price index. Okay, so this is given by the formula summation of PT divided by summation of P0 times 100. Okay, so you want the sum of all the price in 2018, that is the current year, divided by the summation of all the price for the 2017, that is the base year. So in this case, you have 1.2 plus 1.8 plus 2.2 divided by, and then you want the 2017, that is 1 plus 1.5 plus 2, and then times with 100. So this gives you 1.2 times 1.8, you get 3, plus 2.2, you get 5.2, right? So this is 5.2 divided by the bottom part, you have 1 plus 1.5 is 2.5, plus 2, you get 4.5 times 100. So calculate this one. Let me bring up my calculator. So 5.2 divided by 4.5 and then times 100, right? So you get the answer 115.6. So you have 115.6. Okay. So how do you explain? Since this is an aggregate index, so you have the word total price. So you can say here the total price of treadmills increase by 15.6% in year 2018. Okay, if you want it to be complete, it will be the total price of treadmills increased by 15.6% in year 2018 compared to the base period, that is 2017. Okay, so that is for the first one. The second one asks you to find the last prior's quantity index. So they want the last prior's quantity index. So if you are calculating the quantity index, that means for last prior's quantity index, the price will be the weight. And in this situation, we have to take the price of the base period. Okay, the price of the base period. So this one, okay. So it's gonna be any as their weight because we are using last buyers. So that means in this case, by definition, the last buyer's price in sorry, you are looking for quantity, right? Okay, last buyer's quantity index. So you have last buyer's quantity index. Okay. So in this case, this is given by the summation of Q T times P0, the weight, right? Divide by the summation of Q0 P0 times 100. So in this case, this is given by QT times P0. So QT is 80, P0 is 1. So that means 80 times 1 plus 70 times 1.5 plus 20 times 2, and then the whole thing divided by the quantity for 2017, that is 100 times 1 plus 60 times 1.5 plus 40 times 2, and then multiply with 100. So let's calculate this one using your calculator. The top part kita ada ini, so 80 kali dengan 1, so 80 times 1 plus 70 times 1.5 plus 20 times 2, then close the bracket, divide, open bracket balik untuk yang bawah. So you have 100 times 1 plus 60 times 1.5 plus 40 times 2, close the bracket, and then the whole thing multiply with 100. Okay, calculate this one, you should get 83.3. Okay, you get 83.3. Okay, that is the last buyer's quantity index. Okay, remember here, even though you have 1 on top, 1 at the bottom, 1.5 on top, 1.5 at the bottom, 2 at the top, 2 at the bottom, do not simply just cancel out this value. But it will cancel out, but this one you have the plus sign in the middle. Okay, so that is for the last buyer's quantity index. So any questions so far? And refer to the given data set, and then you have to find the trend values, and also find the seasonal index, and then finding the interpret the seasonal index and do the forecasting. Okay, let's see how we can solve this problem. So remember, in order to solve this problem, you have to rewrite this for the first one. Untuk yang nombor 1 ni, so untuk this one, what you need to do is to rewrite this data into a column wise. Okay, so this one you have year and quarter, so you're going to have 3 years and 3 quarter. So you have years, and then you have quarter, and then finally you have the given data. So the given data shows the number of customer in the swimming class. So this will be the Y values, right? So you have the Y. Okay, so you akan dapat macam ni lah. So you're going to have 2016, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you have the 2017, 1, 2, 3, 4. And finally you have 2018, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you just transfer the value over here. You have 60, 50, 40, 80, and so on, right? Okay, let me show you how to solve this using the calculator, using the using the Excel. Okay, saya akan buat dalam Excel. So kita tengok macam mana kita nak selesaikan, right? So let me open my Excel first. Okay, I have my Excel over here. Okay, let me have this one first. Saya akan masukkan dulu data dia. So you have year and then baru kita buat year, quarter, and you have the Y value. So this one is 2016. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so and then we have this one to be 2017 and 2018. Okay, and then we have the values over here 60, 50. So 60, 50, 40, 80, 70, 40, 30, 70, 80, 40, 40, and lastly 90. Okay, so that is our data. So let's see how we can solve the problem. So let me just make it bigger over here. Okay, so you want everything. So let me just take this. Okay. So you have this thing. So you have the 60, 70. So probably kita just nakkan this one. Let me just make it 1, 2, 3. The center kan right. Okay, the first thing that you need to find is to find the moving average. So in this case, you need to find the moving average for. Okay, remember, kalau you tengok dalam textbooks, kita selang satu baris kosong So for ease of calculation, you can just skip one room So di sini kalau katakan you nak tulis, you akan letakkan di tengah-tengah lah. So by right, you akan tuliskan di tengah-tengah. Okay. So since kita tak boleh kat tengah-tengah ni, saya just letak kat sini. So whatever it is, the first thing that you need to do is basically, okay, you need to calculate 4 items here. So 4 values at a time and then take the average and put it in the middle. For example, in this case, the values start from the first quarter 2016. So that means you start with the first quarter 2016 and you add 4 values of starting from the starting value and then take the average, put it in the middle. So in this case, 1, 2, 3, 4, the middle part will be in between of 2 and 3, right? For example, in this case, if you take 60 plus 50 plus 40 plus 80, so you're going to get 230, and then you divide by 4 to get the average. So you get 57.5, right? So in this case, if you want to put the value, so you put the value in between of 3, 2, and 3. So this will be here. Somewhere here, you put it as 575, something like that. Okay, you can letak macam ni, 5, 7.5. So you put it in the middle. And then for the next one, you just minus 60. And then plus, sorry, minus 16. Minus 4. Minus 60 plus 70. Okay, if you calculate the second one, you have you take out the first value, that is 60, and then add one more value at the bottom, 70. So you take the average of 50, 40, 80, and 70 and put it in the middle. If you calculate this one, you get 60. So you can put it here, 60. Okay, so the value is actually in between FT2 and 3, and then 3 and 4. And then you need to find the centered value. So you centered these two values and put it in the middle. So that is the position. Okay, so that is if you are doing it manually. So in this case, saya akan tunjuk dalam bentuk menggunakan Excel. So we won't be using this one. Okay, so let me just give you the solution for this one. So untuk yang pertama sekali, saya letakkan untuk kat sini. So this is just simply equal to this value and then plus 50 plus 40 plus 80, the first four values, and then to take the average, you divide by 4. Okay, so in this case, you get the value to be 57.5, and then you drag this until the end. Okay, so if you look to the last one, this will give you the last 4 digit, that is 80, whatever value over here, 40 and 90. Okay, so that is for the moving average, and remember that this value is actually in between of 2 and 3. Okay, so that means you need to find the centered value. So finding the centered, the centering, so this will give you the trend values. So the centering, we just take two values at a time. So you take the average of, you take the average of 57 plus 60, and then you divide by 2. Okay, so next you remove 57.5, you add another 57.5 at the bottom, and then take the average and so on. Okay, so in this case, bila you kira yang ni, you akan dapat dia punya trend values, this one. So this is actually the trend value. So this cover the first question yang ni. Okay, this give you the answer for this part. So they want it to be correct to 2 decimal place. Okay, 2 decimal place. So make sure that yours is in 2 decimal place. So this is all in 2 decimal place. So you can just put it here as the decimal place. So you want it to be 2 decimal place, right? So yeah, sorry, okay, 2 decimal place. So this one is 3, so this is 2 decimal place. Okay, so that is for the first part. So if you do this, you're gonna get the 5 marks. Okay, however, your first table here for this one will not stop there. Even though it's only ask you for the trend values, you should complete your table by adding one more column for the variation. But the marks will be displayed in the second one, that is to determine the seasonal index. Okay, to determine the seasonal index, the first step that you need to do is to find the seasonal variation. So you can use the seasonal variation. Okay, to find the seasonal variation, what you need to do here is to just add one more column. This will be y over t times 100. Okay, there is a question whether is it compulsory to multiply with 100. The answer is no. Okay, it is not compulsory for you to multiply with 100. Okay, so later saya akan tunjukkan macam mana tuliskan jawapan anda bila kita gunakan yang tak multiply with 100. Okay, so in this case we are using the multiplication of 100, and of course you only do the seasonal variation for the period where you have the trend values. So in this case, the first first row ni, the first two row and the last two row tak ada nilai T. So that means you don't have to calculate the Y over T times 100. So you just need to calculate the one with the value of T. So in this case, this is just simply 40 divided by 58.75 and then multiply with 100. Okay, so you get this value. Okay, so you just do the same thing for the rest of the data. So you're gonna get this one. Okay, so here let me just put it as 2 decimal place. Okay, kalau dia nakkan 2 decimal place, kita gunakan 2 lah. So kat sini dia nyatakan tak berapa decimal place, so dia tak nyatakan so tak nyatakan. Okay, dia tak nyatakan. Okay, so in this case it's up to you to use 2 or whatever. So in this case let's just use 2. Okay, kita gunakan 2 saja. Sama macam yang tadi tu. Okay, so you have this value. Alright. So this value will be used in the calculation. Okay, the last column ni adalah column untuk anda buat seasonal variation. So how to get the seasonal variation? So the next thing that you need to do is to rewrite the Y over T times 100 in the original form of tables. So the original form of table will be the year over here. So you have 2016, 2017, and 2018, right? And then you have the top part to be the quarter, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so what you need to do is just simply transfer the value to the correct position. So let me transfer this value. Okay, the first one, I want this one. So this one, Control C. So I put it here. And then paste special. And then I want the values only and transpose the values. Okay, similarly for this one, I want these 4 values. Control C. And then put it here. So this one, paste special, values, and transpose. Okay, one more. Control C. Paste special, values, and transpose. Okay, so let me just make sure that this is centered. Okay, so the next thing that you need to do is to calculate. Okay, later I will change the decimal place. Okay, so kalau nak tukar kat sini pun boleh lah. So kita tukar terus lah. Okay, kita tukar terus the decimal place to be 2 decimal place. Tadi supaya ni dia ada kosong kat sini. Apa? So saya kena buat satu-satu lah. Okay, satu. Okay. So the next thing that you need to do is to calculate the average. So there is an optional step that is to calculate the total. So you can calculate the total column or straight away calculate the average. So in my case, I'm just going to straight away calculate the average for each of the columns. So kalau dalam kolom tu ada 2 nilai, so you bagi dengan 2 lah. Kalau dia ada 3 nilai, bagi dengan 3. So in this case, all the 4 columns, the quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4, only have two values, right? So that means you have to add them together and then divided by 2 only. So here I have the average. Okay, so in this case, I'm taking the average. So I'm going to use this value. Okay, sampailah sini. Okay, so this is the values. And then I just drag this one untuk dapatkan yang lain. Okay, this is the average value, and the next thing that you need to do is to calculate the total average. So here is the total average. Yes, sir. The sum for all the average to get the total average. So in this case, you get 397.55. So in this situation, you require that this value to be equal to 400. So you perlukan nilai ini adalah bersamaan dengan 400. So you nakkan this value to be supposed to be 400, right? But right now it's not 400. So what you need to do is to calculate the adjustment. So you have the adjustment factors. Okay, you calculate the adjustment factors by taking the amount that you want, that is 400. So you take 400 divide by the average. Okay, the total average. So you divide by the total average. So this one you get this value. So 1.00617. So ambil nilai 400 bahagikan dengan 397. So the next thing is to calculate the seasonal index. Okay, you punya seasonal index. Okay, you punya seasonal index is simply multiply the average with the adjustment factors. So what you need to do is just take the average, this one, and then you multiply with the adjustment factors. So in this case, saya nak fixkan adjustment factor ni. So I select J6 and then tekan F4. Okay, so that I can just drag this one. So bila saya drag yang ni, so you akan dapat yang this one. So now bila you drag this one, you kira dia punya sum. So now is already equal to 400. Okay. So in this case, kalau you tengok dekat sini, so to get this SI, so how do you get this SI? You have to take 133.33 and then you multiply with 1.00617. Okay, similarly for this one, so this is actually, you take 70.54. You multiply with 1.00617. Okay. So how do you get this adjustment factor? So this one is actually 400 divided by 397.55. Okay, clear? So that is the seasonal index untuk answer for the second part. Okay, determine the seasonal index for each quarter. And then the next thing to do is to interpret the seasonal index obtained for the third and fourth quarter. So you now explain. So remember, bila nak explain, you compare this value. Okay, compare dengan 100. Okay, so in this case, this value is less than 100, right? So bila less than 100, there is a fall. So what you can say here, in this case, the question is related to number of customer registered, right? So that means in this case, So you can say the number of customer registered decrease, boleh katakan drop ataupun decrease, drop by, ataupun boleh katakan the number of customer registered in the third quarter drop by, okay, berapa difference there? So the difference you have to take, this one is actually 62.33 minus 100, so you get 37.67%. So drop by 37.67%. So how do you get this? This is 100 minus 62.33. Okay, the number of customer registered in third quarter dropped by 37.67% each year. Okay. Meanwhile, untuk yang ni, untuk yang untuk yang 132 untuk fourth quarter ni, so you can say that the number of customer registered in the fourth quarter, okay, tadi drop, yang ni dia lebih dari 100 kan, so rise by, how much is the difference? So in this case 32.53%. So how do you get this value? This is 132.53 minus 100, right? Each year. Okay, so that answer the third questions. Sorry, that answer the third question. Okay, this answer the third question, that is interpret the seasonal index for the third and the fourth quarter. Okay, and then the next one, what you need to do is to forecast the number of customer registered in the third quarter of 2019. So you know, forecast untuk 2019. So how do you forecast untuk 2019? So here you have 2019, right? So here you have 2019. So you have 2019 over here. And then you nakkan untuk yang third quarter. So 1, 2, 3. So berapa dia punya nilai kat situ? Okay. The question right now, the first untuk forecasting. So if you want to forecast. Okay, step yang pertama. First step, you find the TVV. So the TVV here is given by TL minus T1 divided by N minus 1. So this is given by TL. So this is TL, the last trend value. So this one adalah dia punya TL. Yang ni adalah dia punya first trend value. So this is T1. So that means in this case, you have TL is 60 minus T1 is 58.75 and then divide by N minus 1. You have to calculate the number of trend values here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that means 8 minus 1. So calculate this one, you should get the value to be. So saya kira yang ni, saya kira manual So saya just buat secara manual. Kalau you all pun, you all akan buat secara manual sebab yang ni. So biar kita buat secara manual untuk yang ni. So yang lain-lain tu pun you all kena buat secara manual. So this one you're gonna get 60 minus 58.75 divide by 7. So you get 0.1786. Okay, you get 0.17857. So 857, so you got 86. Okay, 86. And then the second step is to calculate the T projected. Okay, the T projected is given by TL plus TVV times small letter t. So in this case, TL kita adalah, TL adalah 60 plus TVV is 0.1786, and then the small letter t will be displayed as here. So this is the last trend value. So the period after the last trend values will take the value of t, small letter t equal to 1. So this one gonna be t equal to 2, t equal to 3, t equal to 4, and finally at the position that we want to forecast, the value of t is equal to 5. So that means you replace with 5 over here. So calculate this one, you should get 60 plus 0.1786 times 5. So you get 60,893. So you have here 60.893. Okay, 60.893. Okay. So the next one, the last point is to forecast. So to do the forecasting, so number 3, so forecast value, so y hat for the third quarter 2019. Okay, third quarter 2019 is given by the T projected multiply with the seasonal index. So in this case, you want the third quarter, so seasonal index for third quarter. Okay, so you have this to be 60. Okay, so sorry, ada sikit kesilapan. Okay, ada satu benda lagi kat sini. Nah. Okay, 60. Since this one is using 100, so you have to divide by 100. So this will give you 60.893 times, okay, seasonal index untuk third quarter will be 62.33, right? So you have here to be 62.33 and then divide by 100. So calculate this one, you should get the value times 62.33 divided by 100. So you get 37.95. Okay, 37.9 you get around 30. So kalau nak tepat kita letak sini ya. So this will be 37.95. Okay, so 37.95. So that is your forecast value. Okay. Boleh? So there is a question untuk solve this problem. As I mentioned earlier, is it compulsory untuk you darabkan dengan 100? So the answer is no. You can just use without the calculation with multiplication with 100. So kalau you gunakan yang ni, katakan you guna just y over t. Okay, kalau you just gunakan y over t kat sini. Okay, you just boleh gunakan y over t. So this one just simply take y divide by t. Okay, you're going to get this one. So you get this value. So if you are using this one, okay, so make sure that you use 4 decimal place. Okay, gunakan sekurang-kurangnya 4 titik perpuluhan. So bila you transfer this value to this part, okay, bila you transfer kepada di sini, so bila you transfer this value ke dalam bentuk table ni, okay, dalam bentuk table ni, so bila you transfer dalam bentuk table yang untuk kira seasonal index ni, so you punya value semua akan dalam bentuk point lah. So that means instead of getting this value to be equal to 400, so you nakkan this value to be equal to only 4. Okay, sebab you akan dapat nilai kat sini, nanti bila you kira, you akan dapat nilai ni akan lebih kurang jadi 0.3975 contohnya. So you want this to be equal to 4. So bila you dapat yang ni, bila you kira, this one gonna be 0.13416. So 0.7, sorry, 134 pula. This one not 0, so this one supposed to be, but this one is greater than 100, so it will be 1.3416. This one going to be 0.7098. This one going to be 0.6233. This will be 1.3253. So you kira you akan dapat yang ni akan jadi sama dengan 4. So that is one thing. And then the other thing is that bila you darabkan dekat yang ni, so bila sampai kat sini, kalau you dah gunakan you punya seasonal index ni dah dalam bentuk unit form, bukan dalam bentuk 100. So you punya y hat ni akan jadi just equal to the T projected multiply with seasonal index sahaja. Okay, dah tak ada yang bahagi dengan 100. So yang ni bahagi dengan 100 sebab kita gunakan y over t. Ada bahagi dengan 100 kan. So yang ni y over t bagi 100. So yang ni yang tak ada bahagi dengan 100. So kalau tak ada bahagi dengan 100, you kena gunakan yang ni lah. So if this is the situation, so you use this one. Okay. So any questions so far? So